Imagine buying a house for $50,000. You sign the papers, you move in, and you pay the mortgage every single month. You pay faithfully for 10 years. You assume you've paid off a good chunk of that debt, right? You check your balance, expecting to see maybe $30,000 left. But when you open the envelope, the bank tells you something impossible. They tell you that you now owe $65,000. You have paid thousands of dollars, yet your debt has grown larger than the day you started. In real estate, this would be illegal. In the car industry, this would be a scam. But in the American student loan system, this is not a mistake. This is the business model. Welcome to the trap. You were told that education was the key to freedom, but for millions of people, it became a prison without bars. Today, we are going to uncover the hidden mechanism that keeps you poor, expose why the math is rigged against you, and show you why you are not crazy for feeling like you can never escape. This is the story of the $50,000 trap. Let's go back to the moment the trap was set. You were 18 years old. You probably couldn't even buy a beer yet. You definitely wouldn't have qualified for a $50,000 business loan or a mortgage. No bank would lend that kind of cash to a teenager with no income and no credit history. But the financial aid office did. Do you remember that day? It felt like a formality. Everyone, your teachers, your parents, society, told you this was good debt. They said, "Don't worry about the cost. It's an investment in your future." They sold you a dream. Go to college, get the degree, get the high-paying job, and the loan will be easy to pay off. So you sat there. You signed the master promissory note. Did you read page 4, paragraph 3 about capitalized interest? Probably not. You just wanted to go to school. You signed your name, and just like that, you signed away your future freedom. You didn't know it yet, but the clock had started ticking on a bomb that wouldn't explode for 4 years. Fast forward 4 years. You did everything right. You studied late, you passed the exams, you walked across the stage. You have the piece of paper that was supposed to be your golden ticket. But then, 6 months later, the grace period ends. The first bill arrives in your email, and suddenly, the reality hits you like a punch to the gut. The job market isn't what they promised. The entry-level salary is barely enough to cover rent and food, let alone a $500 monthly loan payment. You look at that first bill. You feel a knot in your stomach. Panic sets in. You realize for the first time that the investment isn't paying off. But the bill doesn't care about your salary. The bill doesn't care about the economy. The bill is due. And if you don't pay, they will destroy your credit score before your adult life has even properly begun. This is where the anxiety starts. This is where the sleepless nights begin. You decide to be responsible. You get on a payment plan. You scrape together $300 every month. It's hard. You skip going out with friends. You drive an old car. You eat cheap food. You send that money to the loan servicer every month, thinking you are doing the right thing. A year goes by. You've paid $3,600. You log in to check your progress, feeling proud of your discipline. And what do you see? Your balance has gone down by $100. This is the moment that breaks people. This is the moment you realize you are running on a treadmill that is moving faster than you can run. You aren't paying for your education anymore. You are paying a tax just to exist. You are paying rent on your own life, and the system is designed to keep you on that treadmill forever. How is this possible? How can you pay thousands and owe the same amount? Meet the villain of our story, capitalized interest. This is the trap hidden in the fine print you didn't understand at 18. Here is how it works in simple English. Normally, when you take a loan, you pay interest on the money you borrowed. Simple, right? But student loans are different. If you miss a payment, or if you pause your payments, or if your monthly payment isn't big enough to cover the interest, that unpaid interest doesn't just sit there. The bank takes that unpaid interest and adds it to your main loan balance. Now your loan is bigger, and next month they charge you interest on the new, bigger amount. You are now paying interest on your interest. It's like a snowball rolling down a hill, getting bigger and faster until it crushes you. This is why a $50,000 loan can turn into a $100,000 nightmare, even if you never borrowed another cent.
When you can't afford the payments,
You call the loan company. They seem nice. They say, "Don't worry, we can help. We can put your loans into forbearance. You don't have to pay for a year." You feel a wave of relief. You think they are helping you. You think they are giving you a break. They are not helping you. They are burying you. While you aren't paying, the interest clock is still ticking, every single day. And because of that capitalization rule we just talked about, at the end of that year, all that interest gets added to your loan. By the time you start paying again, your hole is thousands of dollars deeper. The help they offered was actually a trap to keep you in debt longer. They didn't pause the pain, they just delayed it and added a penalty fee.
who are you actually paying?
You probably think you are paying the government, but you aren't. You are dealing with loan services. These are private companies hired to collect your money. Here is the dirty secret. These companies make money based on how many accounts they manage. They don't make more money if you pay off your loan quickly. In fact, if you pay off your loan, they lose a customer. Investigative reports have found that these services often steer people into bad repayment plans because it takes less time on the phone than explaining the good plans. They have lost paperwork for loan forgiveness. They have miscounted payments. Their incompetence costs you thousands of dollars. They are the gatekeepers, and they have lost the keys to the gate on purpose.
If you stop paying your credit card,
The bank has to sue you. They have to take you to court. It's a hassle for them. But student loans? The government has superpowers that no other lender has. They don't need a court order to take your money. They can garnish your wages, taking money directly out of your paycheck before it even hits your bank account. They can take your tax refund. They can even take money from your Social Security check when you are retired. There is no statute of limitations. They can chase you until the day you die. You cannot hide. This isn't just a debt, it's a lifetime sentence enforced by the most powerful entity on earth, the United States government.
this is the part.
That should make you the angriest. In America, we have a safety net for people who fail financially. It's called bankruptcy. If a real estate tycoon makes a bad bet and loses millions, he can declare bankruptcy. His debts are wiped clean, and he gets a fresh start. Donald Trump did it. Huge corporations do it. But you, the student, you cannot. In 2005, a law was passed that made it nearly impossible to discharge private student loans in bankruptcy. They demand you prove undue hardship, a legal standard so strict that almost no one qualifies. You could be totally broke, unable to feed yourself, and the court will still say, "Too bad, pay up." Why are student loans the only consumer debt treated this way? Why is a 19-year-old student held to a stricter standard than a billion-dollar casino?
The answer, as always,
Is money. Follow the money. Banks and lenders spent millions of dollars lobbying politicians to change the bankruptcy laws. They knew that lending thousands of dollars to teenagers was risky. If those teenagers could just declare bankruptcy, the banks would lose money. So, they bought an insurance policy. They paid politicians to rewrite the laws so that they could not lose. They rigged the game so that no matter what happens to you, no matter how bad the economy gets, they get their money. They privatized the profits and socialized the risk onto your back. And what happened once the banks knew the loans were guaranteed? What did the colleges do? They got greedy. Look at this chart. This is the cost of regular goods like milk and bread. Now look at this line. This is the cost of college tuition. It has exploded. Why? Because colleges know you can get a loan for any amount. If they charge $20,000, the government gives you a loan. If they raise it to $50,000, the government gives you a bigger loan. They have no reason to keep costs down. They build luxury dorms, lazy rivers, and massive administrative buildings, all paid for by your future debt. They are feasting at an all-you-can-eat buffet, and you are the one stuck with the bill. The ultimate tragedy is that the thing you bought, the degree, is worth less than ever before. In 1980, you could pay for a year of college by working a summer job. Today, you couldn't pay for a semester working a full-time job for a year. We have flooded the market with degrees. A bachelor's degree today is the new high school diploma. It's the bare minimum to get an interview for a job that pays $40,000 a year. You paid luxury prices for a commodity product. The promise that college pays off is based on data from 30 years ago. For the modern student, the return on investment is broken. This isn't just about numbers on a screen. This is about stolen lives. Because of this trap, an entire generation is in a state of arrested development. We aren't buying houses. We aren't starting small businesses. We are delaying getting married. We are delaying having children. Why? Because we can't afford it. When you have a $500 monthly payment hanging over your head like a guillotine, you can't take risks. You can't dream. You are forced to stay in a job you hate just to make the payments. The student loan crisis is actively shrinking the American dream. It is stealing the future from the young to pay for the mistakes of the old. And here is the scary part. This cannot go on forever. Total student debt in America is now over $1.7 trillion. That is more than all the credit card debt in the country combined. Millions of people have simply stopped paying because they can't pay. The system is cracking. It is a bubble, just like the housing market in 2008. If enough people realize that the debt is unpayable, the whole house of cards collapses. We are walking toward a financial cliff, and the people driving the bus are refusing to hit the brakes. So, what do we do? First, stop blaming yourself. You didn't fail. You were targeted. You were sold a lemon. If you are in this trap, fight back with knowledge. Look into income-driven repayment plans. Some of these can lead to forgiveness after 20 years. It's a long time, but it's a light at the end of the tunnel. But more importantly, we need to talk about this. The title of this video is The Trap No One Talks About, because the system relies on your shame. They want you to be embarrassed, so you stay silent. Do not stay silent. Share this video. Talk to your friends. Break the stigma. The only way we fix this rigged game is if enough of us stand up and say, "We are not paying for your greed anymore." This is Financial Exposed. We uncover the truth because the truth is the only thing that can set us free. Thanks for watching.